Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today doing a Master Duel Thunder Dragon deck profile. So I'm really excited for you guys because this deck is an extremely powerful deck that has one of the most insane monsters ever created in it. Thunder Dragon Colossus, which is just such a powerful card and just a really awesome boss monster. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards, like in your name description every single video, getting a signed card sent in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your patron, along with test stands. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Thunder Dragon. Thunder Dragon is a great 3-up that has a really awesome effect that you discard this card and add up to 2 more Thunder Dragons from your deck to your hand, which is a really good effect because you can use those cards for all sorts of different things, and being able to go +1 to be able to grab them from the deck is always a great thing. We then play 3 copies of Thunder Dragon Dark. Thunder Dragon Dark is a really good card that has the ability that you quick effect discard this card to add a Thunder Dragon Dark from your deck to your hand, and if this card is banished or sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add a Thunder Dragon card from your deck to your hand, except another copy of this card, and you can only use 1 effect of this card per turn and only once that turn. We then play 2 copies of Thunder Dragon Roar. Thunder Dragon Roar is a really good 2-up because you can only play 2 copies of this card currently in Master Duel, but this card is really good because it has the ability you can discard this card and add to your hand 1 of your Thunder Dragon cards that's banished or in the graveyard, except another copy of this card. And if this card is banished or sent from the field to the grave, you can special summon a Thunder Dragon monster from your deck in defense position, but return it to the hand during the end phase. And you can only get either or of this card's effect once per turn. We then play just a single copy of Thunder Dragon Hawk because currently it's at 1 in Master Duel, but I probably would only play a single copy of this card anyways. But it's a really good card that has the ability that you can discard this card and then special summon 1 of your Thunder Dragon monsters that's banished or in the graveyard, except another copy of this card. And if this card is banished or sent from the field to the graveyard, you can shuffle any number of cards from your hand into the deck and then draw the same number of cards, but you can only get either or effect per turn. This card is really good because it helps you put some cards that you might not want in your hand back in the deck, while also being able to draw out some combo pieces. We then play 3 copies of Thunder Dragon Matrix. Thunder Dragon Matrix is a really interesting card that has the ability to quick effect discard this card, target a Thunder monster that you control, and boost its attack points by 500. And if this card is banished or sent from the field to the grave, you get to add another copy of this card from your deck to your hand, which is a pretty good effect. We then play a single copy of Thunder Dragon Duo, which is also a good boss monster to play in the main deck. It has the ability that it cannot be normal summoned or set. It must first be special summoned from your hand by banishing a light and dark monster from your graveyard, and then once per turn, if a monster effect is activated in the hand, then this card gains 300 attack until the end of this turn. And when this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can banish a card from your graveyard and add a Thunder monster from your deck to your hand. And once per turn during your opponent's end phase, you can target 1 of your banished cards and place it on the top or the bottom of the deck, which is pretty good to be able to recover some of your resources. We then play a single copy of the Chaos Creator, which is just a really awesome Chaos boss monster for the deck, and plus it's a Thunder monster that has the ability that cannot be normal summoned or set. It must first be special summoned from your hand by banishing a light and a dark monster from your graveyard. And if you control this card that was special summoned from your hand, you can target 3 of your banished monsters with different names and special summon 1 of them and place the rest on the bottom of the deck in any order, which is really good to recycle some of your Thunder Dragon monsters. We then play a single copy of Chaos Dragon Levinair. Chaos Dragon Levinair is a great boss monster that requires you to banish a combination of 3 lights or 3 dark monsters and any combination in between, which is really cool. It also has the ability, if you only banish light monsters to summon this card, then you get to special summon a monster from the grave in defense. If you only banish dark, you get to shuffle a random card from your opponent's hand into the deck, but if you banish both light and dark, you get to destroy up to 2 cards on the field, which is a pretty good effect. We then play a single copy of Black Dragon Collapse Serpent and a single copy of White Dragon Wyvern Buster. These are really good as 1-ofs in the deck because they have the ability to banish either a light monster or a dark monster to summon them out to your side of the field. And then when one is sent to the graveyard, you get to search the other one, which is a pretty good effect to be able to grab the other one from the deck. We then play 3 copies of the best normal summon in the entire deck, and that's 3 copies of Aloof Lupine. Aloof Lupine is a really good card because when this card is normal summon, you can banish a monster from your hand and then banish a monster from your deck with the same type as that monster, which is a really awesome effect because it gets all of your Thunder Dragon monsters to go off, which is really cool. And if this card is destroyed by battle, or if this card in its owner's control is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can target one of your banished monsters and add it to your hand, which is really good to be able to recycle some of your cards. We then play a single copy of Dragon Buster Destruction Sword because we can use Union Carrier to equip this card to monsters, which is really good. And this card has the ability that you can target a Buster Blader that you control and equip this card from your hand to your side of the field to that target, which is never going to happen in this deck, but it has the ability that while this card is equipped to a monster, your opponent cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck, which is always going to happen on this card because you can use Union Carrier to equip this to one of your monsters to lock your opponent out of the extra deck, which is really awesome. We then play a single copy of Dasher and a single copy of Celestial. These are in the deck because you're going to be using these cards to go into Destiny Hero Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer, which is just a crazy boss monster. And I'm glad that it's finally made it to Master Duels. It's going to make a really crazy impact on the meta. But in this deck, it's really good and really easy to summon. So you're playing these 2 Destiny heroes in the deck so you can go in for Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer. We're then playing a single copy of Artifact Scythe so we can pop it with our copy of Destiny Hero Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer to lock our opponent out of the extra deck when it's special summoned during the opponent's turn, which is a pretty good effect. And then we're playing 3 copies of Max C because Max C is an insane hand trap that during either player's turn you can send this card from your hand to the grave, and each time your opponent special summons a monster this turn you immediately get to draw a card, which is absolutely insane. And then a single copy of Nibiru just to board wipe because if the opponent summons 5 times we can board wipe all the monsters and then summon out this card and give our opponent a token, which is really good. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing some really awesome spells in the deck. So we're going to start out with a single copy of Harpy's Feather Duster. Harpy's Feather Duster is really good because it can board wipe all of your opponent's back row, so you can go in for all of your plays. 1 copy of Gold Sarcophagus, which is an insanely powerful card to combo in this deck because any of your Thunder Dragon monsters between Hawk, Roar, and Dark will actually get their effects when they're banished. So this card is a great card in the deck. You can even banish Thunder Dragon Matrix to be able to search a copy of Matrix from deck to hand, which is a really good combo for the deck. We then play 2 copies of Fusion Destiny. Fusion Destiny is insanely good because it helps us go for DPE in the deck, which is always a great thing. We then play 2 copies of Called by the Grave just to be able to make sure that we don't get hand traps. So this card is a great 2 of in the deck. We then play 2 copies of Thunder Dragon Fusion. Thunder Dragon Fusion is a really awesome fusion spell for the deck that lets us fusion summon a Thunder Fusion monster from the extra deck by shuffling the fusion materials listed on it into the deck from among cards on the field and in your graveyard and face-up banished cards, which is really good. It also has a bonus effect that during your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from the grave and add a Thunder monster from your deck to your hand, which is really good to also get those searches. We then play 3 copies of Allure of Darkness. This card is insanely good in the deck. It basically just lets you draw 2 cards for free because any of the cards that you banish for Thunder or for your copies of your Allure of Darkness, like your Thunder Dragons, is basically gonna get their effects to go off, which is really nice. We then play 3 copies of Chaos Space. Chaos Space is really good in the deck too because it lets us send a light or a dark monster from our hand to the graveyard to add a light or a dark monster that cannot be normal summoned or set from our deck to our hand with a level between 4 and 8 and with a different attribute from the monster that we discarded, which is pretty good. So if we discard a light, we have to add a dark. If we discard a dark, we have to add a light, which is kind of neat. But it also has the ability that you can banish this card from your graveyard and target one of your banished light or dark monsters that can't be normal summoned or set and place that monster on the bottom of the deck, and then you get to draw a card, which is really good. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to be playing a single copy because we can only play 1 Thunder Dragon Colossus. This card is insanely good and just a really powerful monster. It requires a Thunder Dragon plus a Thunder monster to summon this card, and it must either be fusion summon or special summon during the turn a Thunder monster effect was activated in the hand by tributing a Thunder non-fusion monster, in which case you don't use polymerization. And cards cannot be added from the main deck to your opponent's hand except during the draw phase, making this card pretty much a floodgate mistake mistake on the field, which is really good. And if this card would be destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can banish a thunder monster from your grave instead, which will actually make your thunder dragons go off with their effects, which is really good. We then play 3 copies of Thunder Dragon Titan. Thunder Dragon Titan is a card that I actually consider cutting down to 2, but I ended up with 3 and it's worked very well. It takes 3 Thunder Dragons to make this card, and it must either be fusion summoned or special summoned by banishing a thunder monster from the hand and a thunder fusion monster that you control, except another copy of this card, in which case you don't have to use polymerization. And when a thunder monster effect is activated in the hand, even during the damage tab, quick effect, destroy 1 card on the field. And if this card would be destroyed by card effect, if this card would be destroyed by card effect, you can banish 2 cards from your graveyard instead, which is really awesome. We then play a single copy of Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer. Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer is just really, really good in the deck. To be able to just summon this card out to your side of the field, but just making it with Anaconda, and it's just a super powerful card to be able to pop cards on the field. We then play a single copy of Access Code Talker to be able to pop more cards on the field and also make a humongous Link monster. 1 copy of Unicorn to spin stuff. IP Masquerade because you can make Unicorn during the opponent's turn. Artifact Dagda because Artifact Dagda can actually search Scythe, which is really good, and immediately set it to the field. Union Carrier for the Buster Lock to be able to use the Buster Blader card to attach to one of your Thunder Dragons to be able to use its effect, which is really awesome. 1 copy of Cross Sheep, because we mainly summon out our fusion monsters to the field, so this card actually gets its effect. Then we get to special summon a level 4 or lower monster from the graveyard, which is pretty good. 1 copy of Anaconda, so we can really quickly make our copy of Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer. 1 copy of Hieratic Seals, because we do play a couple of dragons in the deck outside of our thunder monsters. 1 copy of Striker Dragon, because Striker Dragon is a super good card to help us link climb with the Black Dragon and White Dragon in the deck. And a single copy of Linkuriboh, which is really good for Thunder Dragon Matrix. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. It's a really fun deck to be able to play with. If you guys have never played with Thunder Dragon and Master Duel, I highly recommend it, especially with Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer out now. It's just really, really insane, especially when you can put a copy of Colossus and a copy of Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer on the field at the same time. This is just insane because you're basically blocking your opponent from adding cards from deck to hand, and you're popping a card every single turn and dropping the opponent's monsters down by 400 attack points because you have Celestial and Dasher in the graveyard. It's just really, really nice. So anyways, guys, that's it for this one. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can come part of the notification squad, and definitely tell me what other Master Duel deck profiles you guys would like to see on the channel. And anyways, guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.